for us to be returning 4 guys from a team that was, a co-champ in the East Division, and we're excited about the new guys that we've added. We feel like we're going to be able to play even a little bit more the way we would like to play, and do a good job with our system. That being said, I don't know if there's a lot of places in the country where you can be a co-divisional champ one year, return 4 guys, at a good recruiting class, and be picked 4th the next year, which I think is just a testament to how strong our league is going to be. And one of the things that we did in preparation for that was improve our non-conference schedule. And I think the names that stick out will be the Boston College and Baylor, and of course Clemson, our in-state rival that we play every year. But I think it's the teams like Richmond and LaSalle and Western Kentucky, and those perennial teams that are going to be near the tops of their own league that are really going to help upgrade that in preparation for, as I mentioned earlier, what I think is going to be the best league in the country. Well, I don't know that anybody's going to be able to fly under the radar. I don't know if y'all heard about the SEC ESPN package or not. I don't know if they've talked about that here today or not. But I don't know if anybody's flying under the radar by any stretch. And I think that all it will do is bring more attention to what we already know, which is it's a great league. And when you talk to the individual coaches, whether it's at South Carolina or anybody else, we're real aware of how hard it's going to be, and so we'll know that every night it's going to be like that.
Obviously, the league was young last year, and I think I was one of those guys that made that statement, considering the fact that it was my first year in the league. And now the league's extremely talented. We're extremely young now. The LSU was a very, very good basketball team last year, a very talented basketball team last year. This year we have a lot of unknowns, with the exception of Tasman Mitchell and Bo Spencer. Tasman Mitchell was a very, very, very good basketball player last year. He's a much better player now, In my short 11 years as a head coach, going to my 11th season, I'm not so sure I've been around a young man who's as passionate about his school, who's as passionate about his teammates, and is passionate about the game of basketball, the sport in which he plays, and always trying to make himself better. So I feel very fortunate to have him back for another year, much like I think this league does in college basketball. We need to embrace that challenge. Are we as good on paper or as talented on paper as a lot of people will play in non-conference and our conference? I'm not so sure we are, but you don't play the game on paper. So I know for me and for them as players, and for us as our staff, and me as the head coach, we're looking forward to that. And I'm going to have to really, as kids will say, they have to always be on top of their A game. Well, Coach Johnson's going to have to be on top of his A game and making sure I help these guys by putting them in situations where they can have a chance to compete and be successful.
I think we're still about a year away from really being able to see some results of all the hard work we put in. I think this basketball team, though, is ahead of last year's from the standpoint that, we lost so much from the previous year that we didn't have anybody that knew what it was like to be a starter in the Southeastern Conference. This year, at least, we've got 4 or 5 guys that have been through that. And we've got another 4 or 5 guys that need to come in and find a way to have an impact. But we are different because we've got 4 or 5 guys that played a tremendous amount. My first year here, the league was pretty good now. I think we had 5 or 6 teams in. Am I correct? So I think it's 6 teams. Is that right? Because Georgia made the 6th one, I believe. Okay, that's a big number. Last year, obviously, that was rare. It hasn't happened. The reasons for that, I think a lot has been made about the strength of schedule, and I'm not crazy about just pointing to that, saying that was the reason why. Bottom line, we didn't win enough games. I think there is something to the fact that the league was very young, but I believe this year that was something that wasn't normal. That was out of character for what was going on. When you look at our history over the last 18, 19, 20 years, we've always got somebody competing for the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament, and I think that goes back to that this year. I think that there's going to be it's going to be really, really good. Our league, year in, year out, our history says this, and this is the way it's always going to be. Our coaches, our players, our teams can compete with anybody in the country. And you look at the number of championships we've won and the number of Final Fours we've been to. It's as good as any conference out there.
We've gone through just whether losing guys to draft or whatever. We just haven't had a lot of experienced teams. And even last year, we lost a little experience the year before when Charles was my only senior and Jamont was a junior and left. Last year we had 2 players back that played any at all, and that was Jarvis and Barry as juniors. So to start this year with 2 seniors and some juniors, there's no question we're much better off at this starting point this year than we were this time last year, for sure. Well, our low points are you expect us to win every game. That's the low parts. I had a new team and a young team. I knew that. And it really wasn't, there were some disappointing losses, I should say. But at the same time, you take only 2 new guys back and a new team, and people lose sight of this. People think we just got hot late. Our 9th game in SEC play, we're playing for first place in the league against LSU. So we played well through that stretch and lost that double overtime game to them and set us back some. But our team played well all the way through SEC play. Went to Arkansas after Arkansas beat Oklahoma and Texas. We're the next team to come into that place. So you can imagine what we came into and got our first road win in SEC play. Went to Lexington, got a road win. Went to Georgia and got a road win. Where are you from? Knoxville. I just told the press this. Everybody talking about Kentucky, and they deserve all the talk they want to talk about. Don't go to sleep on Tennessee. I mean, they have something very few teams have in this league now. 5 seniors coming back. 6 seniors. How many seniors on that roster? 5 or 6? 6. Not many teams have that at all. Last team had it last year was LSU. They had 5, and they were pretty good. So don't go to sleep on Tennessee.
This is a terrific league. It's a league where we're all trying to play at the highest level, and that's a commitment from each school, from the conference, and so that's been something I've really enjoyed and appreciated, and so we're looking forward to the season. Well, we've inherited a group that needs to become more offensive, needs to improve in several areas of the game. I think the first thing, though, is that I've inherited a group of kids who just needed a fresh start, and been very pleased with the response that they've given us to what we're trying to do, and I think that we've enjoyed the first week of efforts to try and get better. I think that what really stands out to me about our players is that they're hungry for a new beginning and a new start. I'm not having to fight them on how we're trying to play. I don't have to fight that battle at all, to be honest with you. And it doesn't mean that they're successful in everything that we're trying to do, but they've been very responsive to everything that we've asked them. Isn't that great? That's a great opportunity for us at Georgia. I mean, how great of a story can it be when none of y'all think we can do it? How great of a story will it be when we eventually improve and accomplish some things? I think that's a wonderful opportunity in life, and I see that as a privilege, and it is a challenge. Every day there's the day's not long enough. There's more things to address than you have time, but we're going to get a little bit better every day, and we're going to fight to improve, and we're going to fight forward, and that's the wonderful part about the job that I have.